Well, hello again there, fellow crafters. I hope you are doing well today. This is Tanya with Night Owl Crafty Designs, and I'm here to show you how I created this beautiful card using a blending ink technique, and I used distress oxides. And the distress oxides I used were festive berries, ripe persimmons, and mustard seed. And here you will see that I am using blending sponges instead of blending brushes like I have in the past. I have a blending sponge for each color of my distress oxides. And when I use my blending sponges, I either work on scrap paper or my glass surface that I am working on right now. And when I work on with blending sponges, I work in circular motions, starting off the paper and blending onto the paper, and I work in that circular motion until I get the color I want, and then I just start with the lightest color, work from the lightest to the darkest, and I keep going until I'm happy with the color I like. And once I'm happy with that color, like I said, I will go to the next color, and you'll see that overlapping area is rather harsh right now, but once I'm finished with the orange, I will go back and pick up the mustard seed blending sponge and go over that overlapping area and blend it in so that it is nice and smooth and looks beautiful. Once I'm done with this blending area, I will move on to the festive berries and do the red area, and then blend out the overlapping area with the ripe persimmons. So I will just speed that up so you watch what I'm doing. There we go, and the background is all blended and looks beautiful and ready to go. Now I'm going to bring in my Misty, which has a stamp of some wildflowers on it, and that's already been positioned to go at the bottom of my background. And let me position my background on here. Whoops, got my magnets stuck together. They love to do that. And let me ink up my wildflower stamp with some black ink. I just simply want to put some, transfer these, or stamp this image with black ink so it stands out. And I'm probably going to have to do it twice because I want to make it a good transfer. Yep, I'm going to have to do it twice, so let me ink it again. And make sure I get plenty of ink on there and transfer that image one more time. And let me see what it looks like. And yes, I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to pull it out of this Misty and put it into a second Misty that I have the sentiment stamp already loaded in. The reason I have two Misties going is the first stamp was a polymer stamp, and this stamp is a rubber stamp, which means I have to take the foam backing out of the Misty to handle the thickness of the polymer stamp. But it looks like it's transferred onto the foundation of the Misty, so let me grab an alcohol pad real quick and remove that so it doesn't transfer. And we'll dry that off real quick. And we're now ready to go, so I will place my background in this Misty, ink up the sentiment stamp, and stamp it on to my card base. So let me just get enough ink onto here, close the Misty door. Yep, make sure I got enough magnets to hold my background down. This is just a whiteboard eraser that I use to help me transfer the image at equal pressure. And voila, we've got a beautiful transfer the first time through. Hooray! All right, so now let me set this all aside and we will finish making the card. So on to the next step, which I would like to add some little bit of sparkle to it. So by doing that, I am going to use some metallic watercolor. And I'm just going to take this copper bronze color right here. I just sprayed a little bit of water into the watercolor palette and just mix it up with my paintbrush. And all I'm going to do is splatter some of the color onto my card, and I simply just flick my brush bristles. Another way you can do this is just tap it on your finger, depending on what size droplets you'd like. I just want some tiny droplets. Tapping it onto my finger sometimes makes them a little bit bigger, and it just adds a little bit more pizzazz to the card and a little bit more sparkle. And there we go, that's all done. And now we're going to take my dryer and just dry that so I don't smear any of the dots, and the card is ready to continue to work with. So there we go. Make sure it's all nice and dry, and I will finish this up and be back in a moment. Now that it is all nice and dry, I'm able to add the bow that I would like on it with this piece of ribbon, and that'll just take me a few moments here, so I'm going to speed that up as I do this process. There we go. The bow is finished. Just fiddling with it a little bit. And now I'm going to use a glue dot and put it behind the bow to secure it so it doesn't move. And voila, we have one bow finished. Now just to trim off the ties so that it is completely finished and looks elegant. One tie trimmed and two ties trimmed. All right, on to backing the card piece. And what I had done there, you see me scraping off a little bit of adhesive, is I had put some adhesive down on the back of it and stuck it to my glass mat so that it wouldn't move on me while I was tying the bow. It just makes it a little bit easier. You can either use permanent adhesive to do this and use alcohol pad to remove the adhesive off your mat, or you can use repositionable adhesive to do that. All right, I'm going to back it with black, which brings out the inked images. And let me center that right there. And then I'm going to get it put onto a card base. And I'm just doing 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base. So let me just get some adhesive on here. And I already have a card base ready. Like I said, it's a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base. And now I'm just going to get the card centered onto the card base, and it will be done. Thank you for joining me, and if you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And also, if you like the card and would like to pick one up, you can go to my Etsy website and pick up this card or any of the other cards I have on my site. Thank you.